We now know officially today that the progenitors of the latest iteration in the Mass Effect franchise, Bioware Montreal, the primary studios on Mass Effect Andromeda, is now no more. EA making an official announcement today. We reached out to a representative at EA that sent us the exact same message. With multiple major projects in development in Montreal, we are merging Bioware Montreal with Motive Studios. This is an ongoing process, but there are many exciting roles and opportunities for everyone on the team. Now, Motive Studios, if you're not aware, headed up by Jade Raymond of Ubisoft fame, is working on Battlefront 2 and has some really high-level quality content creators there. We, of course, have the writer of Spec Ops that's heading up that project. AAA development. These people, allegedly, from the Montreal studios, will have a place at Motive. But I think there's a certain somber attitude that needs to be recognized here. One, that the real birthplace of Andromeda, as we know it, that went through this difficult and arduous development process, is no more. The hallways are emptying, the faculty is going elsewhere, and if you're familiar with corporate culture, you know this happens. But for people that look at video games with a certain sanctity, it's a little bit upsetting. This is Mass Effect we're talking about. This is a game franchise that is meant to exhibit the pinnacle of interactive storytelling and even sci-fi in a greater genre, and the hallowed halls are essentially no more. The people sent to different avenues and thoroughfares in the video game industry. Also, we need to think about not only the legacy of Mass Effect, but the individuals that helped create it. There is a tendency and kind of a natural inclination to have animosity towards the people that you believe have broken or not paid due respect to this franchise that you love so much. But I cannot imagine how difficult it would be for the men and women working at Bioware Montreal, getting an opportunity to work on a Mass Effect game. A Mass Effect game. Something many of them grew up playing and was their reason of getting into the industry. Speaking to many of the writers and gameplay designers from Bioware, they understand the importance of it and they respect it. To go through the alleged development cycle that we heard from that Kotaku story of the pitfalls, the ups and downs, the grand reach of what they were supposed to do and the reality of what they had, only to create something that was derailed and decried by most of the video game community, by myself, by many others, as just being a poorly executed game that is a sham in comparison to the other titles. To go through all of that for years at a time and then be told you can either move across the country or possibly lose your job. These men and women that have chosen to stay and keep finding a career and care about this, I think that there's a special sort of quality to that, and I think it's unique to video games and maybe other art forms, that the people who are in it to create art in this way will go through terrible ordeals in order to ensure they can continue on that legacy. So if you ever do feel, if anyone who happens to hear my voice right now has had a hand on anything in Mass Effect or a major video game, I personally appreciate how difficult it can be to balance that knife's edge between artistic integrity and, personal respect for yourself. But it is important today to recognize that the king is dead. Long live the king. The latest iteration in the Mass Effect franchise, Andromeda, a game that perhaps people will look back on years from now as the turning points for BioWare, or maybe the final nail in the coffin. It's interesting and easy for people like myself to examine it, but today is not a happy day for what will happen next, but a sad one for people who love Mass Effect and for the people who made it. I'm Andy Brukowski. This is VGS.